Hey everyone, welcome back to Citywide Bytes. I'm your host, Max Boda, and I am very excited because for this episode, I get to talk about the soon to be released YA science fiction graphic novel, Cloud9, The Star Soldier. This is coming out on July 7th through IDW, and I get to talk with author A.J. O'Mason and illustrator Dominic Bustamante all about how the two of them collaborated on this idea, the initial concept, and how they grew it from there to what it is today, a 3-book series. Very excited for that. We also dive into the business side of comics, talking about how you can grow your idea from the very beginning, stage one, notes on a page, into what you're going to make later on. We talk about promotion methods and how to find a publisher. Enjoy. All right. Well, AJ, Dominic, I want to say first off, welcome to the show. I've been thoroughly enjoying Cloud9. I'm always cool to find a new comic, and this is a really cool story. But to start this off, could you just walk us through what this one is all about?
Sure. So Cloud9 is, first of all, it's the first book of a trilogy, of a YA queer space opera trilogy. And it's mainly about Cal and Cosmo. Cal is an Earthling without much purpose in life. He's looking for his place in the world. And one day he comes across a strange boy that looks injured. He takes him in, he cares for him, and then slowly they fall in love. And also they quickly find out, he quickly finds out that Cosmo is actually an alien who's supposed to be the protector of a solar system far from Earth, from the solar system. And then he's on the run. So they go together and they go on the run from Cosmo's commander, who is looking for him and wants him to go back to his duties. And along the way, they also meet a very interesting cast of characters, and they basically find a little family in all of them.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
What was the origin of this idea?
Yeah, it started off originally to me in a dream in 2018. I just had this dream of a boy running in a nightclub from what I thought were space cops in the dream. It was very Blade Runner, and I just thought it was such a cool dream, and I didn't want to let go of it. So I wrote it down, and I was like, maybe I'll be able to use that idea for something in the future. And then in 2019, I had a comics course in third year of university where I was like, perfect. This would be a great sci-fi story. So I started asking questions from there. Who's this boy? He's running away. What is he running from exactly? And it became the story about a boy on Earth who meets an alien from outer space, and they both have this really strong connection, and they fall in love, and you go to outer space. And I was really happy with that comic. And later that year, I ended up putting out a post on a subreddit called Comic Book Collaborations, of all places. And I just wrote, I have this comic that I did in university. It's a 10-page comic. I really like the characters and the world. I would love to develop it further with somebody, but I just don't feel I have the writing prowess right now to just do it justice on my own. So I would love to collaborate with somebody. I can't pay you right now, but maybe something will come out of it in the future. And at the time, I thought it would be a web comic of some sort. And I didn't expect anything out of this post. I put it out at 4 a.m. and I didn't think anybody would see it. And the next day, I actually got quite a few responses from interested writers. And one of them happened to be someone named A.J. O'Mason. And I got to talking with him. And we had a shared love of DC Comics, and he really liked Batman. So I thought, well, clearly I can trust this guy. He wears a Batman ring.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
If you can't trust the Batman fans, who can you trust?
Exactly. So I knew I was in the company.
I love that. So how did you go about just growing the idea beyond the initial 10-page concept?
Yeah.
So we, first of all, before we even started working on this book, we did a test collaboration to see if it works out between us. And we did a webcomic that is up on Webtoon right now called For Better or Worse, if anyone is interested in checking that out, it's for free. So you can also get a taste of both of us, like in terms of the art and writing. And so like we saw that we really liked working with each other. And then after that, we came back to Cloud9 and we just started developing an outline. Initially, actually, it was a 5-book series and not a trilogy. So like we did the general outline, we worked on it, like we tried to decide like how the world is going to feel, like the world of Cloud9. What are the main themes, what like the characters are going to go through, like what are their arcs. And after general outlines, we went a little bit deeper. And then I think at some point I started writing the first draft of the first book that's going to come out. And we did that in like 2019, 2020. So now it's been a long journey, but we're finally here.
Yeah. I love that. Like Plan A was a 5-book series.
Yeah.
Aim big, right? Shoot for the
Yeah.
stars. So like bring this down to like 3 books. Was it more like just that's what the story needed, or is it just or like what happened to kind of say, okay, 5 is not really great for us, 3 is going to be the way to go?
So basically IDW told us,
Oh,
listen, let's go with a trilogy.
Yeah.
And
fair enough.
Yeah, and Dom and I always talk about it, like, because we didn't really know how much was going to go into like making each graphic novel. And now we look back at it and we're like, we're so glad that they told us that, because who knows what would have happened. Because like, yeah, we're now hard at work on the second book and on the third book. And again, it takes a lot out of us creators. So
Sure.
yeah, so like we're grateful that they took the chance on us to even give us a trilogy, but we're also grateful that they also said, let's cut it down a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I also love that this is coming out through IDW because I love their stuff. I am a huge fan of their comics, so certainly good company. Was this the first company that you like pitched this to? How'd you come to working with them?
Tom, do you want to take this?
Sure. There was when we released our initial first collaboration, for better or worse, we released that on Webtoon, and there was a publisher that AJ was working with at the time. It was a very small publisher who I won't name. They were very lovely. There's nothing about this publisher that warrants anything negative. And they were very interested in the comic that we put out, and they said, if you want to develop this further, we'd love to publish it, or any other projects that you might be interested in publishing with us. And I turned to AJ because they sent us a contract and everything. And I turned to AJ and I went, oh my gosh, buddy, we made it. Like, this is it. And I was so close to signing that line, and AJ stopped us and just went, I think this project is really special and it could deserve bigger. And we were so grateful to this publisher, but ultimately, like, AJ was right, because we're here now. But I always think back to that moment and how AJ stopped us, and we would not be here today talking with you maybe to celebrate the release in this way. And it just meant a lot to me. And that was also one of the moments where I really felt like I had a solid collaborator with me, because he really believed in the project, and that meant so much to me at the time.
Wow. I can just like feel the chemistry coming off the two of you. You clearly worked together so well. What would you say though has made this like a collaboration so successful?
Wow. I think like everything that needs to make a collaboration successful in my mind, which is like honesty with each other, like being honest all the time about like how we feel about the project or how we feel about like anything. So that's something that it's really important. Like actually listening to one another. When I first came on board, like it was really important for me to understand from Dom, like, what exactly do you want this comic to be in terms of vibes, in terms of like genre, in terms of everything. So actually listening is really important, and really like implementing it like on the page exactly how it was intended. And another thing I would say is just like look like if you're enjoying working with each other, you should always work with each other. Because like, not to say that a lot of times it happened to me, but like sometimes like you can start a project with someone and you're not really clicking, and things like you said, the chemistry isn't really there. And sometimes it's okay to keep working with them. I mean, if the project is successful, like go at it. But like, I think you should always keep in mind, you should always ask yourself, am I enjoying working with this guy? And so with Dominic, I was thoroughly enjoying myself. I've been enjoying myself, and I'm really sure that we're gonna enjoy ourselves working together like for many, many years to come.
Yeah,
I
just
was gonna ask actually. Yeah, please, Dom.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like it naturally helped that we just became instant friends, and I think
Yeah.
that there's definitely an if you have a chance to work with a best friend of yours, I highly recommend it. But I do have to say, you can't work with all your friends. It's sort of like when you go traveling, you quickly find out if you can collaborate with a friend or not. And it
Yeah.
happened to be luck that AG and I worked so well together.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. And I love when you mentioned like future projects. So, do you have anything in mind? Are there some things that we can talk about in terms of like down the road ideas?
Oh, I mean, in terms of like the Cloud9, like we have two more books to go, so that's a lot. Like where the plan is to release them in a 2 year span.
Hmm.
So the final book is gonna be out by 2030, so we have a lot of time.
Oh,
Like,
there we go. Yeah.
yeah. But in terms of other projects, we're always talking about it. Like
Yeah.
there are some one shots that we want to do, and like some miniseries down the line, and graphic novels, and like we always talk about it. And there's going to definitely be a time when we're gonna start working on something else together. It's just like we're both really, really busy right now with a lot of other things that we're currently busy with. So yeah, but there's definitely going to be some stuff in the future that we can't announce yet, but we'll announce in the future.
Excellent, excellent. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get the chance to talk about it on this show because I
hopefully.
certainly imagine good things ahead.
Yeah.
Dominic, I want to ask you about the art because the art is just so wonderful to look at. Like the way you like do the scenes, the colors, the just you really paint an absolutely amazing picture. Did working on Cloud9 give you any new techniques to like try out, things to do that you hadn't actually done before?
I I think the whole book demanded so much out of me. Not even just that it was a whole graphic novel in 264 pages, which wasn't planned for it to be that long. It just so happened to be that way. But I was initially so intimidated by the idea of doing a sci-fi, despite my interest in the genre. But I felt I pegged myself more as a fantasy kind of guy. I thought that I could deliver more on that, and I felt my strength was in that genre. And so this book demanded that I do spaceship fights and action sequences, which I hadn't really done before, and all of these really wild environments. I when I started the comic, I didn't feel that strong in drawing backgrounds, and now I really had to level up and learn on the job as quickly as possible. And it was such a great course in a way for me to just get that practice for myself. And I had a brain fart and I'm suddenly forgetting the question. Just what I learned from this project, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, like the short answer is so much, and so much so that there was a point where I was halfway through the graphic novel, and my style had just developed so much that the initial cover that I drew for the comic, that was the first piece of art that I had drawn for Cloud9. And halfway through, I looked at it and I had to email the editor and go, this doesn't look like the characters in the graphic novel because my style had just changed so much. And I had asked them if I could redraw it because these weren't my children. I had to really get it to the what you saw in the interiors. So that was kind of a funny moment there.
That is so, honestly, Dominic, I didn't like reading the comic, looking at the scenes. I got the vibe that you were really like a pro, that this is like your like normal like thing because you did such a great job with like the fight scenes and the spaceship battles and everything. So it's interesting that this was kind of almost like a lesson for you, almost like a master class to do these things.
That is incredibly kind of you, and I'm so relieved to hear that, honestly. Thank you so much, Max.
Yeah, that's cool. What kind of got you interested in doing like fantasy stories in the first place?
I think that was what I naturally gravitated to. Those were
Mm.
the that was the genre that I mainly consumed. I was a big Disney kid, so a lot of the fantasy leaning movies were the ones that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don Bluth as well, like Secret of Nim. I thought that was
Oh,
really great.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so glad someone else has like actually seen that movie because no one else has seen it apparently.
Yeah, pretty underrated, isn't it? And just
It,
in general, I'd say. Yeah.
his stuff as a kid goes way over your head, and then you watch as an adult, you realize, oh, that's what it's about.
A hundred
Oh,
percent. Yeah, it's something you can absolutely appreciate way more as an adult, that being one of them. But in terms of sci-fi, I actually never grew up and still haven't seen Star Wars. I couldn't tell you what a Star Wars is personally, and despite working on a sci-fi, but my version of sci-fi when I grew up, it was The Fifth Element. That was my idea of sci-fi. So
yes, good
to me,
choice.
what I was thinking of when working on this project.
Oh,
But in terms of fantasy, because we touched on it earlier, but AJ and I definitely want to do some sort of fantasy book in the future, a dark fairy tale of some sort. That's something that I feel we both have in our system and would really like to get out in the future as creators.
mm-hmm. All right. AG, same question to you. Lessons learned while doing the writing for Cloud9.
Wow, I learned how to write from scratch basically. Like I thought I knew what writing was, and then like I embarked on writing this graphic novel, and my entire view on writing changed. Like I'm not being over dramatic, like it really is like that. And it's also like really thanks to the editors that we had working on this book. Shout out Megan Brown and Jake Williams who worked on this book, and like they gave me so much feedback, like very very good feedback that I never came across that kind of feedback before. Like I never worked really with an editor before working with them, and it was such like a school of how to write comics or just like how to write in general. And I really thank them a lot for it because like again I learned so much about character arcs, about like um just everything. Like I can't even start to name everything because like I won't stop. And so yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we have talked a lot about the story now, but as folks who work in comics know, this is a business, you know. And I
This
want
is
to
a
ask the two
business.
of you about what would you say are some of like the steps you would take when it comes to finding a publisher? Because like folks out there, maybe they have an idea, they have like some pages written or some pages drawn, but they're wondering where do I go from here?
Yeah, ours was a bit of a unique journey because the way that we got to IDW, I'm not sure if you've heard of this, Max. Did you ever hear about the Pitch Madness hashtag event on Twitter?
No.
Yeah, so it was a hashtag event on Twitter. It no longer runs, unfortunately, but it was a day where you could put out that hashtag and everybody could put out a project that they were working on, and then professionals in the industry could potentially see it, and then you could pitch to them, which is exactly what we did. We prepared a pitch for Cloud9 at the time, and an editor at the time, Erica Turner, who we owe so much to, she ended up seeing the pitch and she reached out to us and asked if we would be interested in officially pitching it to IDW. And from there, we just started pinching ourselves and thought, is it real? And it turns out she definitely was an editor. So we responded back to her and she really liked the pitch. And then we kind of stumbled into a 3-book deal with IDW. So our, our, our journey towards getting a publisher is a bit different than how maybe some other people might come across it. But I think maybe the takeaway is that definitely have something to show. That's really important. That's always what I keep telling people when they come for advice. It's one thing to tell someone that you have an idea. It's one thing to show them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was lucky that we did develop and prepare that for that day. And also just be so open to actually putting the work out there. I know that some creators can get very sensitive and protective about their work, and there's absolutely I have so much sympathy for that, of course. As a creator, I'm also sensitive myself, you just won't be seen if you don't put yourself out there and take that leap.
I like that. I like that. All right. The other thing that I wanted to ask is when it comes to promoting your work, once like you've got the book, you've got the release planned, how do you think is the best ways to kind of get the word out there to turn the comic going community into new customers?
That's a good question. I mean, something that I really like, that I thought was really smart that we did, is we planned ahead. So like once we knew exactly like when IDW is going to announce the book and that it's finally coming out, like months, I think it was like a few months before that, we already starting to get an idea of like, we started planning of like how to promote it, like what kind of content we want to put out. Like we really went into specifics and we planned ahead. And now, not to say that everything worked out exactly how we planned. I mean, life happens, and like, it's some stuff that we said that we wanted to do, we didn't really end up doing. But it's just like to, again, plan ahead, and also just be open to work a lot for it. Like we have done a lot of work to promote this book. Like we went on podcasts, we do a lot of reels, posting like the art and everything. And so like online, your online presence, some would say unfortunately, some would say fortunately, like your online presence is so important. And if you can actually like develop it and try to like make it a little bit of a bigger account before your book comes out, and if your book's already coming out, like do it on the way. But again, it's just to like plan ahead for what's going to come, and work hard, just work hard, and also be aware that you're going to face a lot of rejection. Like something that I haven't talked about, so I'm glad you asked that. Something I didn't know, like going into promoting this book, I didn't know how many people like wouldn't respond to our emails about asking like if we can get a podcast interview. Which again, thank you so much for asking us to come on your show. So like we sent out emails to podcasts, we sent emails to like shops that we want to go to do signings. Like we did a lot of reaching out, and we faced a lot of rejection, a lot of people ignoring us, and you need to be okay with it. You need to be okay with getting the rejection and moving on, and always again continue working, continue putting stuff out there. Like Dom said, like as long as you continue putting yourself out there, there might be one reel that you post that will like blow up and get like 50,000 views, and from that you'll get a few customers. And yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
about it for me.
And I would say just to like jump off of what you said, when it comes to reaching
Mm-hmm.
out to like the magazines, the podcasts, like the comic like websites, don't take
Mm-hmm.
it personally if they don't get back to you, because we get a lot of emails every single day.
Definitely.
It is
Yeah,
easy for
yeah,
things to
yeah.
kind of get like lost in the cracks, or winds up in the spam folder. So follow
Mm-hmm.
up. If you send an
True.
email, you don't get a response, call them. If they got a phone number, give them a call. Worst thing I'll say is,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, not my thing. But like
Yeah,
you
it's
said, don't take it personally.
yeah, don't take it personally, but like what you said is very, very important. I think we need to really like remind people, follow up. Like even if,
Hmm.
because again, there were like uh, people that we sent out emails to and they didn't respond at first, and then we followed up, and then we're like, oh, we're so sorry. Like
Exactly. Yep.
we definitely missed out. So thank you for following up. So always follow
Hmm.
up. Of course, be like how would you say, like courteous about it, if that's the right word.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, like don't follow up 2 days after, like, hey, what's up? Like, are you gonna accept me or not, or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like always, yeah, always be kind and understand that,
Exactly.
like you said, they have
Formal.
a lot going on. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because what you're doing is more or less making like a business pitch. So approach it in that
Hmm.
regard. Don't be
Yeah,
like, hey, so what are you gonna have me on your show? I'm gonna like get you like a million viewers kind of thing.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So to wrap this up, last question for you both. Let's say there's someone out there who has just an idea. That's it. They had like they had a dream, and they say, okay, this is my starting point. What's next?
Oh. Dom, do you want to take this and I'll go after you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went into it a little bit already
Mhm.
earlier, but I just cannot stress enough to just have it on paper. You can have an idea in your head, and that's a very different thing from having it realized on a page where somebody can see it. And I was listening to an interview with Kelly Sue DeConnick during the pandemic. And I don't know if she came up with this, but I've stolen it from that interview ever since. And she said something along the lines of, if I die tomorrow, oh no, if I have an idea in my head and I die tomorrow, I'm a dreamer. But if I have an idea written down and I die tomorrow, then I'm a writer. And that really stuck with me as something
Mhm.
so powerful. And so
Yeah.
if I can get that idea across to somebody who needs to hear it, make sure that you have that idea on the page, wherever it needs to be. And again, just show it to people. It needs to be shared. I think, especially now, I think we're in a time where people are craving and we want original ideas and we want more stories out there. So I highly encourage just anybody who needs to hear it to just put your work out there and do it. And for comics as well, like that's such a big thing. It's just diving in. You really just have to take that leap.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was sort of about to say. Like, I'm coming in from the standpoint of a writer, but so like I would say still, even though you can draw comics, it doesn't mean that you can start making comics. So like you can already like if you have an idea, like start doing the work yourself. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for like an artist to say like, let's collaborate on this. Like maybe do the work ahead, like before that. Like start doing the outline, start figuring out who the characters are, like what you want them to be. Start figuring out their character arcs, like everything that you can right now to do it, and even maybe even start writing the script. And then once like you find an artist or you find an editor or like anyone else that is willing to take a chance on your comic, or if you need to pay them, that's also like totally a valid option, and you should pay your artist if that's what you agreed on, obviously. And so yeah, so like once that opportunity comes, like if you're prepared, it's so much easier to start working on it and start making it. So that's what I would say.
I like that. I like that. Well, folks, that is going to bring this episode to a close. AJ O'Mason, Dominic Bustamante, thank you so much for both joining me. I am, again, loving Cloud 9, and just a little bit, you can all check it out for yourself because it drops on July 7th. That is when book one drops. 2 more to come over the next, 4 years, which I absolutely love. And again, thank you both so much, and looking forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
And that brings this episode to a close. I really hope you enjoyed the episode and picked up a few things along the way. If you want to support the show, please like this episode and share as much as you can. If you want to check out other kinds of episodes, you can find that right here. And to subscribe, it's right there. This has been Citywide Bytes, and I'll see you all next time.